Hello viewers, welcome to Ekam IAS Academy. Today we are celebrating 14th National Voters Day. So we'll be discussing all the details you need to know about National Voters Day, from when we are celebrating, what is the theme for this year, what are the voting rights in India, so who are enjoying voting rights, what are the concepts related to voting, whether right to vote is a constitutional right or legal right, many questions are there. So and related Supreme Court judgments are there, and also we are going to discuss about the role of Election Commission in ensuring free and fair elections in India. So these are going to be the points of discussion. Let's start without any further delay. So here, as we have discussed, these are the points of discussion. Why in use, objective behind celebrating this National Voters Day, what is the theme for this year, and what is the concept of voters pledge, what are the programs that are conducted as part of National Voters Day, what is the concept of right to vote, and we will also discuss what is the evolution of right to vote in India, and what are the constitutional provisions, what is the role of Election Commission in conducting free and fair elections, and what is other value addition for your prelims and mains. So this forms part of your GS paper 2 as part of polity and constitution. Then why it is in use? Because today we are going to celebrate 14th National Voters Day. Why we are celebrating specifically on Jan 25th means it is the same day on which our Election Commission of India came into existence, on 25th January 1950. So as we are celebrating National Voters Day, today it is also marking 75 years of Election Commission of India, okay, and its establishment. Okay, so two events are marking in this year, and also we are celebrating 75th Republic Day tomorrow. So we are discussing what is the purpose of celebrating, or what is the objective behind this National Voters Day. So what is the reason is mainly to encourage, okay, so because every year so many people will be getting their 18 years of age, and also they are enrolling as voters, to encourage, okay, to motivate them to vote. So that is the main objective, to encourage, facilitate and maximize enrollment for new voters. Okay, so that is why we are celebrating Voters Day. From when we are celebrating? Every year since 2011. Okay, so since 1950, 25th January, we are celebrating the foundation day of Election Commission, but since 2011 only, we are celebrating 25th January as National Voters Day also. Then it is also encouraging right to vote as a basic right. Okay, so now the question is whether right to vote is a basic constitutional right or legal right. Okay, so it is not a fundamental right, you know, okay, because it is not there in Part 3 of Indian Constitution. But what is the question here is, some people, because there is an article reference in Article 326 of Indian Constitution that right to vote is given under that article. So some people opine that that is a constitutional right, but Supreme Court has said that it is a legal right also. But in case if you are not ensuring, okay, because in case if it is a legal right, okay, so we don't agree, because in case if you don't vote in the elections, then there can be some penalties also imposed in case if it is a legal right. That is why majority of the political experts and constitutional experts agree that right to vote in India is a constitutional right. Okay, so even UPSC also has given this question previously, and that has resulted in some controversy, but UPSC has gone with constitutional right only. Okay, so you also have to follow the same. What is the theme for this year's National Voters Day is nothing like voting, I vote for sure. This is a symbol, and this is a year theme for 2024. Then what is the concept of voting, voters pledge? Okay, voters pledge is nothing but it is a pledge read by the new voters, okay, so that they will definitely vote in the upcoming elections. So this is a taking responsibility of voting. So what it is reading, we the citizens of India having abiding faith in democracy, because you know the fundamental concept of democracy itself is of the people, for the people and by the people. So by the people means the people's representatives are elected in India, because India is an indirect democracy. It means when we are electing, that is what the actual meaning of democracy is. So that is, right to vote is very important part of democracy. So hereby pledge to uphold democratic traditions of our country and dignity of free and fair peaceful elections. If you do remember, this concept of free and fair elections is one of the basic structure of Indian Constitution, which was propounded by Supreme Court in Keshwananda Bharti case. Then and vote in every election fearlessly and without being influenced in considerations of religion, race, caste, community, language or any other inducement. Okay, so without any fear or favor we should exercise our vote. Okay, so taking this pledge, at least we will have some sense of responsibility. That is why this voters pledge is generally practiced as part of National Voters Day. Then what are the programs conducted as part of this National Voters Day? Sweep means this is a program to create awareness about voting, okay? Any malpractices during elections and all, so they'll try to give information so that those practices will not take place in voting and all. Then Chalo Karen Martand means you are taking funny pledge and all, so you are taking this as a thought provoking way to encourage more voting, okay? Then what is right to vote in India? If you have remembered, before independence, not all Indians have this right to vote, because so many people, they were deprived, and some people only are given right to vote that is also based on tax, okay, and the relations between British India and those people like nobles or the princely states. Only those people have this right to vote, okay, and that is one right. But India is the first country to give, not like previously if you have seen, New Zealand is the first country to give voting rights to all, especially women also. But India, soon after independence, that is right immediately on 1947, 15th August only, if you remember, India said that we are giving voting rights to everyone, okay? That means all sections, not only males, not only some privileged people, but all, okay, whether deprived people or not, irrespective of religion, race, sex and all, we are giving voting rights. That means there is a lot of discrimination that is there in British India in terms of voting, okay? So right to vote, okay, this is a basic political right, and in the which article we exercise this? As I told you, it is a constitutional right, okay? It is getting its powers from article 326, because article 326 is saying in India the mainly people are elected based on the concept of universal adult franchise. What is this concept of universal adult franchise? Universal means everyone, adult means who is above 18 years of age, franchise or suffrage means they are exercising their right to vote, okay? Means everyone who is above 18 years of age can exercise their right to vote without any discrimination. No one can be barred from exercising their right to vote if they are Indian citizens above 18 years of age, okay? So that is one meaning of article 326. Then you can see here, every Indian aged above 18 or older, they can elect, okay, their representatives to 2 assemblies, because you have Lok Sabha and state assemblies only in a direct election way. For Rajya Sabha and state legislative council elections, that is an indirect way. So normally common man doesn't exercise their direct vote, okay? So for these 2 posts, normally people will be exercising their franchise. Then voting, previously if you know, initially the voting rights in India were granted at 21 years of age, but during 61st Amendment 1988, okay, after this amendment we have decreased it to 18 years. So now anyone who have crossed 18 years can exercise their right to vote, okay. Then other provisions apart from the constitution are also mentioned under Representation of Peoples Act 1950. So normally so many students, they will be confused between Representation of Peoples Act 1950 and 51. So one easy thing I just want to tell you is 1950 Act always deals with pre-election things, okay. Pre-election means whatever all the necessary things related to conduct of free and fair elections, all those aspects will be covered under Representation of Peoples Act 1950. Then what about 1951 Act? It deals with conduct of elections from the day, on the day of conduct of elections till the declaration of results, means qualification, disqualification, all these things are dealt under Representation of Peoples Act 1951. In this way easily you can remember. 1950 Act deals with preparation of electoral rolls, okay. So once if you are getting age of 18, you have to enroll yourself as a voter on Election Commission of India's website or any other designated authorities, okay. So conduct of elections and also determination of qualification of voter, okay, who have to be voter in that particular constituency and all those things will be dealt under Representation of Peoples Act 1950. What about 51? It deals with conduct of elections on the day of election and afterwards also. So any disqualifications, if you are failing to lodge your election expenditure and all, at that time what are the grounds on which you can be disqualified, those aspects will be dealt by 1951 Act. Then what is the role of Election Commission of India in this? Because you know what is the nodal body to conduct elections in India is Election Commission of India, and you know it is a constitutional body, okay, under Article 324 of Indian Constitution, okay. So if you have to remember, this came into existence also on the same day, 25th January 1950, okay. So today it is marking 75 years of its existence, okay. Then you can see it is conducting elections for which bodies? For conducting the post, it is conducting elections for the posts of president, vice president, Lok Sabha elections and state assembly elections. Okay, so Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha also, and also assembly and state legislative council elections also. Do remember. Okay, so Election Commission of India is not concerned with elections of panchayats and municipalities. Those are dealt by state election commissions. Okay, those are also constitutional authorities only, but they are confined to local elections. Okay, Election Commission of India doesn't do that. Then what is the mandate here? It is to conduct free and fair elections. This is also, as I told you, basic structure of Indian Constitution. You cannot amend that particular feature even by a parliamentary amendment. Then structure of the constitution. Previously, Election Commission used to be a one-member body only, okay, till 1988. But you know, in 1988, 61st Amendment was made to Indian Constitution, which has lowered voting age from 21 to 18. As this has increased work on the Election Commission, okay, burden has increased. They have increased one-member body to multi-member body. That is 1 plus 2, 3-member body. Okay, so now from again they have changed. Then since 1993 onwards, it is working as a multi-member body, that is 1 plus 2 members only. Then the commission is presently consisting of 1 plus 2, as I told you. And most important things, because if you remember, this year Election Commission is so much in news because the way, okay, the election commissioners and chief election commissioner are getting appointed is being criticized by Supreme Court. So Supreme Court said it should not be in a partial way. Okay, so there should be some neutrality and there should be a collegium type of thing which have to select who have to become CEC and ECs. So again, to overcome that Supreme Court judgment and to make some minor changes, government has brought a new bill and it has recently got president approval also. So in these issues, okay, and also because of party split and mergers and who has to get right over election symbols and different things and different context, Election Commission of India is so much in use. So in the coming prelims of state exams or in UPSC also, there can be a high probability of any question asked on any aspect of Election Commission of India. They can ask into qualifications, appointment, removal, like things and all. Okay, so what are the most important things you have to remember is, with respect to Election Commission, Constitution did not describe or prescribe who have to become, means they did not mention any qualifications, okay, who have to become to the post of CEC and ECs. It is left to the discretion of the government itself. Okay, because of this political because of this vacuum in the Indian Constitution only, it has been politically criticized. Okay, then it does not bar retiring member also. Okay, so it did not prescribe any qualification, and one member, if he is appointed, furtherly he can be appointed for another post also. There is no such bar on them. Okay, term is not mentioned again by the Constitution itself, but it is mentioned by the government. Whenever Constitution is silent on some aspects, it is left to judicial interpretation, or sometimes Parliament or the central government can decide on those things. So do remember, this is a most important thing. Most of the people get confused. Term is not mentioned by the Constitution, but central government has fixed as 6 years or 65 years, whichever is earlier. Okay, then expenditure of Election Commission is not charged on consolidated fund. Okay, you know, expenditure on consolidated fund is of two types: charged expenditure and made expenditure. So charged expenditure is non-votable, means you can just discuss that in the Parliament, but you cannot vote on it. Okay, made expenditure is both discussed and charged. It can be voted upon also. If Parliament doesn't approve, it will not get passed. Okay, so Election Commission of India's expenditure is not charged, because if it is debated and it is not passed in Parliament, then it will be a troublesome situation for Election Commission to conduct free and fair elections. As it has to work independently, it is not a charged expenditure. Okay, then removal of Election Commissioner or Chief Election Commissioner, they can be removed by whom? Again, if Parliament passes with a special majority, on the same lines like a judge of a Supreme Court, on two grounds: proved misbehavior or incapacity. Okay, using a special majority. You know, special majority means majority of total membership of the House plus majority of 2/3 present and voting. Okay, so in case of these situations, okay, on these two grounds, election commissioners, Chief Election Commissioner can be removed. But what about two election commissioners? These persons can be removed from their post on the recommendation delimitation of Chief Election Commissioner. Okay, if he recommends to the President to remove these two, they can be removed. Okay, this is with respect to removal. Then what is the role of Election Commission? This is very important. What are the powers and functions also we can see. So the main job is to conduct elections. Okay, so based on Delimitation Act, territorial constituencies, it has to conduct elections for post of President, Vice President, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, Assembly and Council elections. Then it has to prepare electoral roll. Okay, that is based on 325. What is this article 325 saying? There should not be any discrimination when you are enrolling the voters. Okay, so electoral roll should be made in a indiscriminate way. It should not be in a discriminative way. Then to determine territorial constituencies, okay, article 82 of Indian Constitution with respect to Delimitation Commission. Okay, so based on the Delimitation Commission's report, the Election Commission will determine territorial constituencies, and it is also regulating political parties, okay. So in case of a tuffle, like you have seen recently in situation of Shiv Sena, so two parties or two factions have claimed that this is our party. So in those situations also, a role of Election Commission of India is very important. Also it prescribes what is the maximum limit for campaign expenditure during elections. Okay, 40 lakhs for MLAs and 70 to 80 lakhs for MPs and all. In that way, it will prescribe the expenditure that can be officially spent by a candidate contesting elections. Then to decide symbol allotment, okay, recently bow and arrow symbol was contested by both factions of Shiv Sena. In that situation also, who have to, in case of party split and mergers, okay, who have the actual right will also be decided by Election Commission. In these situations, it will function as a quasi-judicial body also. Okay, in disqualification of member under Representation of People's Act 1950 and 1951, and also to enforce model code of conduct. Model code of conduct doesn't have any statutory backup. Okay, so there is only a consensus among the political parties through which this was prepared. Then what are the challenges that Election Commission is facing? Funding of political parties, because if you know, during the conducting of general elections or Lok Sabha elections, central government has to sanction all that expenditure amount, and in conduct of state elections, state government has to release. So in case if they are releasing very less amount, okay, then Election Commission have limited money and it has tremendous work to do. So that is becoming a main issue. Okay, who have to actually fund, state funding or any other way, that is the main challenge. Media advertisements like fake news, paid news, this is also one challenge. And no power to regulate inner party democracy. Okay, if one leader is getting elected, okay, for lifelong as a leader of that political party, so whether Election Commission has any role in those situations or not. So these things are again becoming a challenge. Then credibility of EVMs and VVPATs. After every elections, the opposition parties generally claim this, okay, so that we have lost confidence on EVMs and VVPATs, and we have to revert to ballot papers, and also there will be credibility, and this is also one challenge that is facing Election Commission. Then violation of model code of conduct. Whenever this MCC, because it doesn't have any statutory backing, in case if it is violated, then what powers then this ECA has power, okay, that is also one major criticism. And less staff because of low budget sanctions, and independence is the main criticism or challenge that is facing this Election Commission, because one CEC and two ECs, okay, they are now appointed. Previously they used to get appointed directly by central government without any consultation, but what did recently Supreme Court said? They should be selected by 3 members search committee. Okay, so who are part of this committee? PM, leader of opposition, and Chief Justice of India or any other Supreme Court judge nominated by Chief Justice. This is what Supreme Court has given. But to counter this, government has brought a new act, central government, okay, and they said PM, leader of opposition, and there should be a union minister who is nominated in place of CJA. Means they don't want judicial intervention in this, okay, and they said in case of any vacancy in this also, that cannot stop government from taking any process forward. Okay, so then rise of use of money and also muscle power. Okay, this is also one challenge. And abuse of religion and caste, okay, to grab the votes and all. Exceeding the limit of expenditure is also one challenge, and suppressing information about assets and criminal whatever the criminal cases these papers these persons who are fighting elections have, because politicization of criminal and politicians nexus is there. Politicization is happening, and criminal many other issues are getting faced. Okay, then what are the reforms suggested? Okay, so non-partisan functioning means without any inclination towards the government, okay, or the ruling party, election commission should function independently. That is one recommendation given by Tarkunde committee in 1975 and also Dinesh Goswami committee in 1990. Okay, so this is what even Supreme Court opined recently. And another recommendation is to make model code of conduct legal or statutory recognition has to be given. Then Dinesh Goswami committee also recommended that instead of FPTPP, okay, what we are following, first past the post system, we should shift to the proportional representation system, and also one person cannot contest in more than 2 constituencies, okay, limit to only 2 constituencies. And Jeevan Reddy committee recommended that there should not be any splits and mergers during the term of Lok Sabha, okay. Once Lok Sabha is elected, there should not be any splits and mergers. And Indrajit Gupta committee has recommended state funding of elections. This is one major recommendation. You can write all these things in mains or related answers. Then what are the Supreme Court judgments? In case of any question on voting or election commission related, you can write any of these relevant cases, okay. ADR, Association for Democratic Reforms versus Union of India case 2002, it said that contesting candidates should disclose their assets in criminal cases in nomination papers. It is made mandatory from this particular case. Lily Thomas versus Union of India case with respect to Rahul Gandhi's disqualification also, this case is so much in news, okay. In 2013, members should be disqualified automatically when conviction was awarded by the court, okay. This was famous in Rahul Gandhi's case now, okay, although his conviction was now stalled by Supreme Court. Then PUCL, People's Union for Civil Liberties versus Union of India case 2013, it upheld right to negative vote, nota, none of the above option, okay. Then Subramanya Swamy versus ECI 2013 clarified VVPATs as indispensable for free and fair elections, okay. So there is no irregularities in this VVPAT system. Then Abhiram Singh versus CD Komachan, this is in 2013, ruled that election will be annulled if votes sought in the name of religion, okay. So if you are grabbing the votes in the name of religion, if you are, okay, then it will lead to communal tensions and that election can be declared null and void, okay, according to this judgment. Then, okay, this is a time for practice question. You can see the question for prelims in the Lok Sabha elections. Who among the following can order adjournment of poll or countermanding of election on the ground of booth capturing, okay. In case if booth capturing happen, who can annul the election, okay. Whether it is Chief Election Commissioner, Election Commission of India, Chief Electoral Officer of the state or returning officer of that constituency. Answer in the comment section. Then question for mains, the role played by Election Commission of India has bestowed a very high level of confidence in the minds of Indian citizens in ensuring the purity of elected legislative bodies in the country. Critically examine, okay. So how the confidence is being increased by the Election Commission, what are the measures it has taken. So you have to write about EVM, VVPAT and like you know, even the photo based voter ID cards are also given. So different ways in which the confidence is increased by Election Commission among the voters. So those things you have to write in this particular answer. As we have come to the end of the video, in this video what did we discuss? We have discussed why we are celebrating National Voters Day, what is the theme for this year. We have seen what is the concept of voters pledge. We have seen what is the role of Election Commission, what are the constitutional provisions related to right to vote, and what are the challenges and related Supreme Court judgments related to this particular concept, okay. So these are the main updates related to today's topic. Thank you.